Martins.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of Grassroot Chats. We have all the way from Southampton, AK-47, and of course our two wonderful, sweet rivals from North London, Mr. Thanos for Arsenal, and of course, welcome back, Karim from Tottenham FC. Well, would you actually say Arsenal or Tottenham? Is there any rivalry there still left? I'm sure there's only one king of North London at the moment. I think they're top of the table. What team is that, Steve?
Tottenham are top of the table after 3 games.
Say with your chest, man. Say with your chest, because
I say Tottenham are top of the table after 3 games.
So
Arsenal bottom.
What are you trying to say? That they're not going to be there for a very long time?
They won't be there at the end of the season.
We shall see. We shall see. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday transfer market ended, and all the wonderful hassle, bustle, and shuffle. Players trying to run around and players, trying to make it. Of course, we know the biggest transfer story. The biggest transfer story. The King's back. The King's back. Initially, the noisy neighbors actually shot. Sorry? You see, just as about the man.
Lukaku, the King.
See, just as about a man is about to talk rubbish, the internet just goes off, man. Lukaku, who's that? We're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, baby. Christy CR7. He is back in Manchester. That is definitely the biggest transfer. Now, the question is very, very simple. We're talking about this off air. AK, what chances does Cristiano Ronaldo have now that he's back fresh in the Man United team? And does this make Man United title contenders?
I think United were already title contenders from the start of the season because they got a very good defender in Varane. They have Sancho as well to play on the right. So kind of getting Cristiano Ronaldo is more like giving their title chances more credibility. So I think the top 4 battle this season is going to be very tough and intense. So yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo is going to make a difference for Man United.
Karim, you don't seem too convinced. How many goals do you think Ronaldo will score? And of course, you see Man United actually going for the title, not just being in the top 4.
Oh yeah, we just discussed it lightly on off air, and I personally think I don't think he's going to be the same player that he was. I still think he's going to get goals. Still say he's going to probably get 15, maybe 20 in all competitions, but I still think I just don't have faith in Ollie to bring it home. Really, I still think the managerial aspect in Manchester United is not enough to win the Premiership. If I'm honest.
Steve,
yes, you've got a good squad. Yes, you've got rotation. But I don't know.
Steve, you clearly think differently from this guy. Obviously, you're on the other side of North London, and you probably see football differently. What do you think? Ronaldo, highest goal scorer, Man United title contenders?
Man United are definitely title contenders. With all the transfer activity that's happened, the weakest link for Manchester United is the manager. Because I think he has the squad. First
things first. The weekend league in Manchester United is Fred. Let's not get carried away here and be insulting only. Fred is the weakest link for Manchester United.
It's gonna be a case of when he does rotation, how he does rotation with people like Cavani and Ronaldo, Martial, Rashford, Sancho, making all those guys play at the top level. To consistently perform and get results. Finding that he's still got to find the best position for Pogba. Fernandes is in that side, so there is a lot for him to deal with, and it's whether he can handle that. But they definitely have the squad to challenge for the league. If they don't challenge for the league, then serious questions have to be asked of Solskjaer. They need to get someone else in. Ronaldo, personally, I think he's definitely going to be up there and contending for top scorer in the league, to be honest.
Oh, look at that. So, these boys have mentioned that Solskjaer is the weakest link, pretty much. Karim has no faith in the manager. Steve says it's the weakest link. So, and do you think the team will revolve around Ronaldo? And if you had the chance, what team would you pick? The Manchester United first 11? Because personally, I think Man United have a defensive midfield problem.
I actually don't think Solskjaer is the weakest link. I think this is the most stable United has been since Sir Alex Ferguson left. So I like the way that Solskjaer's handled like the Pogba situation as well. and you can tell that the players actually play for him, unlike Mourinho or Van Gaal. So he's got like better man management skills than Mourinho and Van Gaal. So the only thing missing in Solskjaer's game as a manager is he doesn't have that experience to get United over the line. So that makes sense why he lost like 4 semi-finals. So I think getting players like Bruno Fernandes, who like he's a winner. Varane obviously has won like 14 consecutive finals. Then you have Cristiano Ronaldo, who has won so many titles as well. So I think these signings are enough to help Solskjaer win his first major title. Talking about the first 11 for Manchester United, I will go with goalkeeper Henderson. Right back,
Henderson, even after the wonderful save the game made.
He's a flash in the pan. He's past his best. Henderson for the future. Dalot, right back. And then,
wow.
Yes, of course. I want a right back that can cross the ball, not AVB, not AWB.
Wow, that's a big shot.
Varane and Maguire, of course. Then left back picks itself, Luke Shaw. And then I would go with 2 DMs. I will go with Fred McTominay. And then I'll go for Fernandes in front. And then if Rashford is fit, obviously he's the first pick for left wing forward. So I'll go for Rashford. And then, of course, Ronaldo as the center forward. And then the right wing, I'll go for Sancho.
Wow. First of all, man, a teardrop just went down my heart when I heard Dalot in front of AWB. That was that, and of course Henderson for the girl, my good girl. But it's okay. That was your team. It's understandable.
That'll be my pick.
Who would you pick? And I'm pretty certain, Karim, you probably pick similar team. However, I would like to know what formation you would play and who are the attackers.
I would put Wan-Bissaka in right back, Luke Shaw left, Henderson in goal. So I think De Gea has gone past it now, me personally. And just for the future, really.
Ah, God.
Varane.
Why are you picking teams for the future when somebody that's here is playing well now? This is not Back to the Future or Minority Report.
You have to let the man talk. You have to let the man talk.
Going past the past seasons, De Gea has not been the same player. The only game it might be a biased game, but the game probably, I think it was about a season ago, where we was playing against you guys and he was absolutely outstanding. Like everything we done, we just couldn't get the ball past him. And I thought that was probably his last big standout game, in my opinion.
Okay, carry on with your team. We're going to get to Tottenham eventually. Don't worry.
I'll have to put Bruno and Pogba both starting.
Okay.
And McTominay in the DM position. Ronaldo up front. Sancho on the left.
You see, this is tough, huh? Tough. All right, Steve, give me your team. What Karim still thinks there? Karim still thinks.
So, in goal, David De Gea. The fact that Varane is in there, he's gonna have someone to actually lead that defense alongside Maguire, and I think we'll start to see the best of De Gea again. I don't think he's past it. I just think he was sulking or something like that. But he's, to me, De Gea. Wan-Bissaka will be right back because Sancho will be playing right wing. I don't want Sancho to be thinking about defensive responsibilities too much. I want him to be focused going forward and crossing the ball in and beating his fullback that he's facing. I would probably play one DM because I think that centre-back pairing in Maguire and Varane is pretty solid. And I don't need to protect them as much with 2. So I'll probably go with a combination of McTominay, Pogba, and Fernandes. in the midfield, playing Rashford down the left, Ronaldo up top.
So now, would you say since Solskjaer has come in, and of course with some good money, Sancho, Tom Heaton, Rafael Varane, Cristiano Ronaldo, has this been the best window Man United have had since Fergie left? What do you think, AK?
Yeah, I mean, it's right up there in terms of like the quality of signings. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any other summer transfers that United had in the past that can rival this. I know there was a January transfer when they got Evra and Vidic. That was a good one as well. But yeah, this is right up there.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to see that. I mean, that we were looked at the starting contenders. Ronaldo is like the icing on the cake, as AK said earlier on. Karim and AK have been drinking clearly as they think the gear has passed it, and and of course, I mean, AK has probably been drinking more than Karim, putting Dalo in front of Wan-Bissaka. But it's interesting how you guys see the team. I still, as I said, personally, I think we needed a DM. It's funny how I think Fred and McTominay play well together, but when one plays, it's always a different story. And then it's Ronaldo was a very good buy. All the buys are wonderful. Sancho is still taking his time to get grips with the league. I personally, if I'm playing an attack, I will play Sancho on the left, Greenwood on the right, and Ronaldo up top. This guy's on fire. I agree with your midfield in Pogba, Bruno, and McTominay. And of course, the back four. Now, the next question is, are we saying this is party done, game over for Victor Lindelof and, of course, our good friend, Eric Bailly? So we're saying Bahrain was pretty much just bought to tell us to be on the bench. Steve?
Yeah, because I don't see them benching Maguire. Varane's not come to sit on the bench, so I think it's a case of he's not going to move to a back three. So those guys are on the bench as backup, and it's a very good backup to have really for the odd game here and there.
Well, you forgot. I know you're talking about defensive aspects at the moment, but you forgot about the main man, Anthony Martial. What happens to him?
So apparently, the story behind this is that Martial was the second option if PSG couldn't get Richarlison, if Mbappe had left. So there was an inquiry made to the club about Anthony Martial, which could probably have been done. However, Solskjaer demanded that he wanted Martial to stay. So clearly that tells that there's some sort of belief he has in Martial. He thinks Martial can still add to the team. You could see it when he played Martial against Southampton, even if Greenwood had a wonderful first game. He played Martial down the middle. So I think the manager still has some sort of faith in Martial. I think Martial is a wonderful player. Just unfortunately, is one of those, I don't feel like playing today. He seems like one of those guys that you really need to talk to, like, there you go. You're so
He's an unhappy soul.
Yeah, I think he's unhappy.
PSG. Are you sure it's PSG? Because I thought it was
Leon, isn't it? I heard Leon coming with a bid last minute.
From what I saw, it was PSG inquired just in case, because they were not sure they were going to get Richarlison if Mbappe left. So Anthony Martial would have been the next best thing. When you think about it,
I know we made an inquiry about him. I would have been happily taking him, to be fair.
Now, I like the way that you said that they made an inquiry about one Tony Martial. Came from France. The English press said he had no chance.
Yeah, no chance.
Down the drain, as Tony Martial scores again. Hey, la. Now, let's talk about Tottenham. First of all, on 2 episodes ago when you were not here, Karen, can you openly say that your club actually handles their transfer markets well, their treatment of players? Tanguy Ndombele wants to go, not in the squad. Harry Kane declares he wants to go. They are begging him to stay. Please, and now Tanguy Ndombele is going to stay. So if he's going to stay till January, and do you think he can turn it around again the way he did last season?
Definitely. I definitely think he's definitely got it in his boot to turn it around. I feel like if he does want to go, he really needs to show what he's about. I think this is his time to show.
Like, you don't
that.
think he has shown enough from last season?
I don't think so. I still think he's got a lot more improvement to do. His final ball is not of the standard which we saw when he was at his previous club. There's a lot of expectation that I still think he's the club's, to this day, the club's most expensive signing. So really, he should be performing every week, every weekend, week out. I think he's definitely going to fight for his spot back in the team. But the boy Oliver Skip, man, he's been playing his heart out, and that's what we need, young players to come through. And it's actually good to see that we actually are rebuilding now. This is what Pochettino should have been given, but we won't talk about him because it's still a sore subject. But he's definitely for us Tottenham fans.
Okay, just checking. But from the way things have started, Nuno, 3 wins from 3, top of the league, looking like Tottenham's going to play fast attacking, quick football. Seems that he has compacted the middle. Do they really miss Pochettino, AK? Do they miss Pochettino?
You say fast attacking football, but I can still see signs of Jose's game in there. Maybe it's going to take some time to turn it around. Yeah. I don't think we're the quick counter attack. Yeah, Bergwijn's given a bit more freedom that which is allowed to. Son's obviously been outstanding as well, but there's still all 3 of our games is 1-0.
Yeah, but 1-0 is a win. What do you think they're missing, Steve?
Of course it is.
Karim, like AK, thinks Nuno is Mourinho in disguise. So what do you think they're missing? Because the way Tottenham is set up, ideally they can only really play counter-attacking football. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, they were not playing that with when Pochettino was there. We were playing possession-based football under Pochettino.
Different players, though. Different caliber of players. They had Eriksen at the time.
Yeah, I don't think they have the personnel to play possession-based football at the moment. They have to hit teams on the break. With a couple of passes, I can't see them doing that in the midfield that they currently have.
And it's funny you say that because that's what Ndombele was brought into the team to do. He was the man to replace Christian Eriksen because we knew he was going. It's only a matter of time. And Pochettino said, "Okay, well, this is your replacement," and that's where he was meant to pick it up.
But isn't Ndombele more of he picks up the ball and will drive with it, whereas Eriksen's more of a passer.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's what it makes them a counter-attacking team. They're not gonna possession. Eriksen was all about possession, isn't it?
You also have Lesoso. Very good guy as well.
Mm.
The thing is, the way the team is shaped up, and when you have Son, Bergwijn, Lucas Moura, these are boys that just want to run. They're very happy to run. You have Harry Kane, who's the only out-and-out striker. I mean, you do have Troy Parrott, but
he's on loan at the moment.
Oh, okay, Troy Parrott. So they don't think he's good enough to come back. All right, cool. And you still have Troy Parrott, but Kane is the only striker. Dele Alli now has gone back to the middle.
We have Dane Scarlett. That's next on the list as well. Dane Scarlett. Let me throw that in there as well.
Dane Scarlett. All right. Troy Parrott, Dane Scarlett. Future England Hall of Fame. I see that. So, but when you look at, that's not the only treatment I'm talking about. Serge Aurier. Serge Aurier had to terminate his contract pretty much. How bad does a player need to tell you that he doesn't want to be there, that he has to terminate his own contract and tell the club, I don't want to get paid? I know he was a bit touch and go, a bit inconsistent, but really, looking at the right backs that Tottenham have and the way Nuno wants to play, surely Serge Aurier would have been a good fit, AK. What do you think?
I'm not too sure if it's going to be a good fit because Nuno, to me, like I said before, is a good defensive manager who can counter-attack. And it looks like the young guy, Tanganga, is exactly what Nuno wants. Very tough, hard-tackling guy. Again, Serge Aurier, we know him very well. Like, it's like an accident waiting to happen. I don't trust him defensively at all. Don't get me wrong, he's a good cross off the ball, very, very good cross off the ball. But, for some reason, he thinks he's good enough to go back and play for PSG. But we'll find out.
The thing with Tanganga is he's young, and this is probably going to be a season where he'll be given a lot of opportunities to play. Now, but the thing with that is, who is his replacement? I know you still have what's his name that came from.
It's Matt Doherty, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
Doherty.
he's a Nuno boy.
Yep. So I'm pretty sure Takanga might not play the entire season first choice. However, looking at his game though, so
just brought in Emerson Royal as well
That's
from Barcelona as well, which was basically his replacement, which looks like a good prospect as well.
So that means Doherty is going to be third in line then.
I believe so. I don't think I don't think him and Nuno had a good falling out. I think they had a falling out just before he went to Wolves because their friendship and their relationship, from what I'm hearing, isn't that.
So I have this sneaky feeling that there will be a time in this season when Tottenham will have a tough, rough patch, and Nuno will have to revert back to 3 at the back sometime this season. So you remember Conte, when Conte came,
we always do, though. And it's normally after the Liverpool game. Always after a Liverpool game. We lose to Liverpool and then we just decline. Always happens. Season in.
When you play Liverpool?
He's keeping it in his diary because you got.
I just want to see if that theory is correct. I just want to see. That's all.
So I mean, if looking at Tottenham signing, he had Pierluigi Golina from Atlanta on loan, Brian Gill, Christian Romero, Sa, and Emerson Royal from Barcelona. Is that enough from the way Nuno has started? Do you think Tottenham is the one? So everybody believes that Chelsea, Manchester United, ManCity, and Liverpool will be the top 4. Do we see Tottenham breaking into that top 4 from the way they have started, the players they've bought, and the way Nuno plays? What do you think, Steve?
No. Nope, don't see it. I don't see Tottenham being the ones to break into the top 4. If anything, it will be probably Leicester. But I don't see, to be honest, I don't see anyone breaking into that top 4.
Why do you think Leicester will break in even before Tottenham? Karim, you tell me, because I know your heart is there to your team. Do you agree with Steve that Leicester has a bigger chance of?
I don't think we're capable of breaking into that top 4 at the moment. I think that top 4 is, well, 3 of them is all because of money, which we can't compete with, and Liverpool have just played really well. I just don't think, unless Liverpool really have a bad season where potentially their centre backs get injured again, I can't see it happening, really, to be honest.
So what Karim is saying, AK, is that out of the 4 teams in top 4, he only believes they can get past Liverpool. However, the only thing Liverpool needs to do is beat them, and then they go into collapse, according to what he has just said. So do you also share the thought that Tottenham cannot break into the top 4, AK?
Yes, I think that there's a gap from last season and maybe the season before, which you can't just close the gap within one transfer window. They have a very good team, and I think they have a good team to finish 5th. But I still think it's going to be very hard for them to break into the top 4.
Speaking about the top 4, Steve, Arsenal and Tottenham, who do you think will finish above each other this season?
Is that a trick question?
No, it's not.
Who will finish above?
Yeah.
Tottenham should finish above Arsenal.
Well, the truth of the matter, it was a trick question, and the fact that Steve had to think, that just tells me he's not quite sure.
No. It's not that I had to think. It's just to bring yourself to say it, isn't it?
So this is, now that you mentioned Arsenal, or I guess I mentioned Arsenal, and we're moving from Tottenham to the other side of North London. This has been Arsenal's best transfer window for a long time, in set of money. You had Nuno. Yes, they spent over
150
million, and they brought in Nuno Tavares, Albert Lukunga, Mika Berit from Fulham, Ben White, Odegaard, Ramsdale, and of course Tomiyasu from Bologna. So in a season that you spent 150 million and you brought all these players, Man United spends less and brings in Ronaldo, Varane, Tom Heaton.
Squads are at different levels. To be honest, squads are at completely different levels. The Arsenal had to me a decent transfer window because it looks like they've got a strategy in terms of they're signing young players and they're in the positions that the team need. It might not be the names that the fans wanted, but it's the positions that we need. The only thing you can do is give these guys a chance and see what they produce.
Should the fans not be worried though? Because the only other player that's come in since City spanked you was Tomiyasu, and he's supposed to be a defender. Should be if you wanna? I mean, do you have any sympathies for your North London rivals, Karim?
No. If anything, it's great to see them at the bottom of the table. But
do you think they'll stay there?
Nah. Apparently, there was a who's the goalkeeper you brought in?
Ramsdale.
Yes, but apparently every team he goes to, the team gets relegated.
Yeah.
So if it happens,
it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Are you sure? You sure about that? What's your honest opinion about Arsenal, AK? Where do you see them finishing this season? And of course, with the most expensive transfer market, do you actually think they can break into the top 8? AK.
They finished 9th or 8th last season, right?
Yeah, they finished.
When did they finish last season? 8th.
Yeah.
8th.
I think they were just about to make the top 10.
Just about. They could finish. I mean, they could go on a wonderful run. Is it so? I mean, we talk about Arsenal, and of course, some people think it's the manager, some people think it's the players. So what we're saying is Arsenal is just going to float by. Remember, they're not in Europe. They don't have long weekday games that they have to play. They'll have enough time to recoup. Could it be that it could get to the point that the players will actually gel and Arteta's way will come in? What do you think, Steve?
I think that the teams that were above us last season are not going to have the seasons that they had last. The same season this season as they had last. Teams like West Ham, they got Europe to contend with, and potentially we've strengthened better than they have. So we shouldn't have such off the boil players again, as in Aubameyang not scoring goals, not being creative. So over the course of the season, I'd expect us probably to be only falling behind teams like Leicester, Tottenham, more traditional teams. I don't see Villa putting it together the way that they did last season.
So you see yourself finishing in the top 8 again?
Yeah, I can see that. Because to me, to be honest, we're only, from my point of view, we're only 3 points worse off than what I expected at the beginning of the season. I didn't expect Arsenal to beat ManCity. I didn't expect Arsenal to beat Chelsea. I expected us to beat Brentford, yes.
And you have a huge game against Norwich. I mean,
the period between the two international breaks is very key because they need to get how can I say? They need to show that they're a team, put in some performances, and score some goals. I would say, I think it's 5 games we've got. I'd say it's a minimum of 10 points out of those 5 games as a minimum.
Okay. Well, you see, I mean, we have said before on this show, you're like the second most positive Arsenal fan out there. There's that individual called Ty, and of course there's you. So, I mean, time will tell. Speaking about being busy in the transfer window, there was actually a team that wasn't that busy, and that was Liverpool. They only brought in Ibrahima Kanut. Do you see Liverpool, have they gotten to their peak? Have they gotten to the point that you feel, you know what, this is what they can offer? What do you think Liverpool will do this season, apart from, of course, beat Tottenham and make them collapse? AK, what do you think?
Me, okay, so basically, I think the same. So Liverpool's front three is done. They're beginning to lose the fear factor, and I think they've lost that intensity. So I watched the game against Chelsea, even with one-man advantage, they never looked like scoring. That's all.
That was, you could argue that was a game that Chelsea showed that you could use 10 men to defend properly.
Not necessarily. Normally, you would see Liverpool like pressing, counter pressing. I never saw any of those. I think only the first 15 minutes that we saw like the old Liverpool where they're literally rushing you and all over the place, trying to suffocate you and stuff like that. But I think they should have gone for Adama Traore. Get him, play him through the middle, just like how Wolves are playing him. They need that trust, in the team, that energy. And I think that also missing obviously the energy that Ronaldo, brought to the midfield as well. So it might just be a long, hard season for Liverpool.
What do you think? What do you think, Steve? Do you think the front three? Because I mean, when AK said that, you look like you're about to have a heart attack. Do you think the front three for Liverpool are done?
I think they need refreshing. So they need a creative player behind them to thread passes, not just how they've done it over the past couple of seasons. I think it was a poor, very, very poor transfer window for Liverpool. They needed some investment to keep up with their competitors. So I think even though it's a top four, I think we might see a gap between third or fourth, and then fourth will be a bigger gap.
So we've seen this also with clubs teams like in Dortmund, where he literally ran that team to the ground. That team was literally on their knees because of the high intensity game he played. And I think he almost relegated Dortmund his last season. I mean, Liverpool needs some refreshing to do.
So are we saying, so we have Mane, Firmino, Jota, and of course Salah. And of course, from the way you guys have said, they need some freshness. They need somebody behind them. But who are they going to bring behind them? Because the way Liverpool play, they want their fullbacks to do almost all the attacking.
Right.
And of course, Thiago that is supposed to bring this this extra attack. People always say, oh my God, he's too slow. He's slowing down their game, blah, blah, blah. So what do you think they need? What do you think they need, Karim? Because you're pretty worried that they're like your voodoo team.
They are. I don't know what it is. I don't know if but AK said that the fear factor's gone. But when I'm not gonna lie, every time I see that fixture coming up, I just think it's, especially if it's at Anfield, I just think it's a guaranteed L or a draw if we're lucky. We may get a draw at home. I just think it's our bogey team. I think that's just the one team that I'm always. Everyone else, I feel confident going against. I feel like, yeah, we could get a result. But Liverpool, I don't know. Even last season when we done really well, and then Bergwijn missed that chance and hit the post, or could have put it to bed.
You sound like you haven't gone to sleep since then. You sound like you wake up with nightmares.
I remember all the Liverpool games, that Wanyama Rocket, which
yeah, but you drew that game though. You didn't lose.
You did draw that game, but what happened?
Salah scored.
Kane missed the penalty, right?
Yep. And
then he scored the second one. This is what I'm saying.
I swear I'm going to check when Liverpool are playing Tottenham. Steve, we need to get together and watch you recover. We need to see.
Definitely.
We need to see what's happening. Well, I mean, I personally don't know. Well, would you say you guys are quite harsh, man? How can you say Mane, Salah, and Firmino or Jota is finished?
No, I didn't say they're finished. I didn't say they're finished. I said I think they need something else, a different option. So Liverpool's always, how can I say, just that slick player who can slip through passes and pick out Mane and stuff. But just to have a different option to the way they've played for the last couple of years and stuff, because you see how Man United, Chelsea, ManCity are strengthened and changed their game. Liverpool is still very much an excellent first 11, but if they have an injury, what happens?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And they've been very lucky with Mane, Salah, in terms of injuries. But we saw what happened with their centre backs last year.
Maybe that's why they went for just one defender.
But what did they do in midfield? Because now they've got Henderson, Milner,
Fabinho,
Thiago
Silva.
Yeah, but Thiago Alcantara, they don't play him in an advanced role to thread passes. They're very much midfielders that just sit.
Yeah, but when he came on against Chelsea, though, he could see that he calmed the midfield down, those trailing passes. and all that story. Well, I mean, I'll be one of those that'll be very happy if Liverpool finish ninth or something. Make no mistake. I'm hoping they do really badly. But as you said, there's just too many. The way they play and that constant attack, I think they'll probably be, motivated depending on who they're playing. And speaking about,
sorry, do you not think they've lost some form of explosiveness? Like, I think
what I think is that all the other teams have caught up with their style of play.
You don't think Mane and even Salah, to a little extent, have lost that explosiveness they had?
Mane maybe. Salah, we're talking about a man that had 20 Premier League goals last season. Has he lost any explosiveness? It was
older. I know. I mean, obviously, he tries to run behind the defense all the time, continuously.
Do you know what? Saying it now, I feel like when you look at the likes of Mane and Salah, now that they've won everything in regards to the Premiership and the Champions League, do you think their incentive has gone? That's the reason why they're not.
Yeah, the incentive is always to win the Premier League and win Champions League. Yes, they say they have won it, but I'm sure they have the determination that they want to win it in the same season. They want a double. I'm sure they would love to have the FA Cup. Yeah, it's not as important, but you have won it once. Obviously, the taste for more should be there.
But that's why you need someone to press them for their position, because I don't think Salah and Mane are in a position of thinking that they're not going to play. If they're fit, they play. And once you have that, it doesn't matter what level you have. If you have that level of complacency in the side, the club's not going to buy anyone in to replace me. They're chilling. So naturally, their levels will drop. No matter how much Klopp can drive them, he can't drive them over the course of a season the way that he could do before, because he had the carrot of success. Now they're in the dangerous game of, the club's not going to invest in the side. So do I start looking at places like Real Madrid to go and those kind of things can happen. Yeah, so I just think that if you look at the sides that have just continued to maintain the levels of success, they always refresh. They refresh something, be it the coach, personnel on the pitch, but something gets refreshed. And it seems like the Liverpool owners are making Klopp do magic with his hands tied behind his back.
Speaking about freshness and change and refreshing and all that, I remember an interview that we had with Pep Guardiola, and he was like, "You have to change. You have to bring new things. You have to blah 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 blah." They brought only 2 players in this transfer window, in Grealish and Scott Carson, and of course Scott Carson is the goalkeeper that will probably never play unless Edison is has, I don't know, polio or something.
But they brought him in as number 3, isn't it?
Pretty much. So
because they got I can't remember his name.
Yeah, the young guy is very good.
Yeah, because of home. I think that might be a homegrown rule, though, isn't it?
Maybe it could be there, but they brought in only 2 players, Jack Grealish, and everybody knew that this guy is near the striker. So it's a very simple question. With ManCity blowing away Norwich, of course, spanking Arsenal, do they need a striker, or is it a case of no Kane, no pain?
No, they need Kane.
They need a striker.
They're not going to get Kane.
The reason being, if they didn't need a striker, they wouldn't have been in the market for Kane. They wouldn't have been in the market potentially for Ronaldo, if that was true. Pep just doesn't bid for players that he's not interested in that position.
They still have a striker. They have Jesus.
Yeah, they've got decent strikers, but do they think they need a top one? I think they do. To secure everything, yeah, I think they do. Especially what they're trying to achieve, Premiership and Champions League double. I just don't think they have a striker that's clinical enough at present. You know a striker, if they have a tight game and he's only going to get 1 or 2 chances and he bangs it away.
Do you think, AK, that City cannot win the league with just Ferran Torres playing up front?
Yes, I don't think they can win the league in a long season of 38 matches. I don't think they can win the league. Ferran Torres is their best finisher. It's very good. But then again, what happens when he gets injured?
Why do you think he's gonna get injured? Why do you think he can have a stellar season that he can play?
I know, but you got to plan for these things. Like you can't, like obviously, there's a reason why Man United has Martial, Rashford, Greenwood, Ronaldo. You know, these 4 players can play through the middle. So someone like Sterling needs like 5, 6 chances to score. Mahrez misses chances a lot. Gabriel Jesus is more of a winger these days than a striker. So again, in the tight games, like Mr. Thanos mentioned, you can't imagine if you're playing Chelsea where you know chances are going to be at a premium. You want to have that cold ice striker in front of goal. And that's what ManCity doesn't have at the moment.
Well, how did you feel, Karim, when Kane said, "I'm going to stay in London"? Did you feel happy, or do you think it's a case of he should have gone?
As a Spurs fan, it's good to see that he stayed. But as I said to you last season on the podcast, I feel that if I was him, I would go. 27.
Yeah, but I mean, he wanted to go, but your daddy called Levy.
Let's call it as it is. Yeah, Kane stayed because he had to stay.
Yeah, definitely.
He's not staying because he wants to stay. He stayed because he had to stay. His contract, he couldn't get out of it. And then the clubs weren't bidding for him the way that people probably thought that everyone would go mad. Harry Kane's available, a bidding war. Real Madrid, Barca,
came in and
ManCity, Bayern Munich, everyone's going to be after him. But at the end of the day, he only proved that there's only one club ever bidding for him. Man United didn't go in for him, and that was before Ronaldo there was even a chance of Ronaldo coming.
Because they know what
so maybe I don't even know that. I just think that his stock wasn't as high as everyone expected it to be.
Maybe it's just the case that they didn't want to deal with Levy.
No, I don't think so. So do you think if Haaland comes available, do you think only one club is going to go for him? If he's just an open, the player wants to leave.
Yeah, but saying that, Haaland was kind of available because Dortmund were just waiting for somebody to be. If Real Madrid,
they want to sell him before Bayern Munich next year.
Yeah, if Real Madrid bid 189 million last night for Mbappe, do you think if they had given Dortmund that money, he wouldn't have gone? What do you think?
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think that would have. I think with the Haaland situation, it was a bidding war, isn't it? Because Mbappe, they know it's a closed deal. It's just to PSG to Real Madrid. Yeah. If someone bids for Haaland, everyone's going to get involved in that. Everyone who can afford it will try and get involved in that.
Chelsea got involved and pulled out.
Say that again?
Chelsea got involved and pulled out.
For
Haaland.
Oh, okay.
Go back to Daniel Levy. Look what he's done. Michael Carrick.
It's a long list, bruv.
Modric. Gareth Bale.
That was the worst one.
You
forgot Berbatov.
He's got his price in his head, and if he doesn't tick it, and it's gonna damage the club, he's not going anywhere. Eriksen. His hands was tied with Eriksen. Eriksen said, "Look, I'm not signing a deal." He's like, "No, I'll offer you in a documentary. I'll offer you whatever you want. What can we do for you? I'm not signing a deal," because he knows you're not going anywhere. When Levy's behind the door, you're not going anywhere. I'm surprised Carl Walker got to go when he wanted to go.
So as a Tottenham fan, is that good for the club?
I don't like it. No, me personally, I don't like it. I just feel like if a player comes out and says that he wants, like at the moment, Harry Kane should be winning trophies. He wants to stay in the Premiership.
There is no God-given right that because you're wonderful, you should be winning trophies. None of that. What do you mean you should be winning trophies, man?
He should be, though.
He wants to end up like Alan Shearer.
He wants to leave on the Hall of Fame. He wants to hold the Champions League up. He wants the FA Cup. He wants the Premiership. He wants to go down in the Hall of Fame of the English best striker.
So why didn't he leave then?
Daniel Levy.
So he's.
I think I keep on forgetting the new guy that we brought in who deals with all our.
Oh, the technical director guy.
I think he called up to him and said, "Look, I think he's turned around and said, look, we'll give you 400 grand a week. Just keep quiet, play your football, and you can go at the end of the season."
But no, but
to me, you look.
But Steve just said his stock is not that high even now. Or
No, I think it is.
So what do you think? If I can guarantee you now, I'm sure AK back me up here, man. If Kane doesn't score his usual 20 goals, blah blah, nobody's coming for him next season.
But he will.
The problem Kane's got next season is that Haaland's going to be available for a discounted fee of 65 million, I think it is.
75 million.
75.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's gonna look at Harry Kane? No,
True.
you're gonna. If
up as well.
Yeah, his price would have gone down. Man United have put in a striker.
But
Chelsea put in a main striker.
But next season, Man United will probably lose Cavani because unless he has a good season and they give him 1 year extension, probably lose Cavani. Probably lose Anthony Martial. We'll need. I still don't think Solskjaer will think Greenwood will be ready for the middle. So, and these days, a lot of teams want quick fixes. They probably wouldn't go for the long-term Haaland because how many of these great strikers out there that you're sure, okay, this is for the future? Haaland, Troy Parrott.
I feel that the only thing Harry Kane has got for him is he's done it in the Premier League. And that's what Pep will be like, you know what, if I bring Haaland, there's no guarantee that he can hold up to the Premier League. So that's the only thing that's got it for him. And I feel that, I was looking at the game when they were spanking Norwich over there, and I was just looking like, if Harry Kane was in this team.
Speaking about strikers that were available, and they would have met the quota of the 100 million that City actually went for Harry Kane. And of course, Chelsea took advantage of that. Lukaku. Could have been a case that, I mean, I know players say, a lot of people say he doesn't fit tiki-taka and, straight running football. Why didn't City go for Lukaku? What are your thoughts on that, AK?
Nah, impossible. It doesn't fit into
Pep's team.
Yeah, I mean, if he couldn't fit into Solskjaer's team, how can he even fit into Pep's team? And he wouldn't also fit into Liverpool's team.
I feel like there's an insult there. If he doesn't fit into Solskjaer.
No, I mean, he's a goal scorer. He needs the ball in the box. Then he can shoot with either foot. But yeah, I mean, you have to work the chances for him, which, in Belgium, he has so many very good midfielders that will provide the chances for him. Inter Milan, the same thing as well. Chelsea, again, has got so many creative players. But if you're expecting him to, press defenders, running behind more often, he's not going to do that. So, and his first touch is still questionable, still. So
the question here is that, even before, did Lukaku automatically make Chelsea feel like title contenders, or these guys could win the league? Because they've only made 3 signings. In Lukaku, Saul Niguez was coming on loan, and of course, Marcos Bettinelli from Fulham. So why does that all of a sudden, I mean, yes, they're a very good team. The way they play, Tuchel has made them compact. But was it Lukaku that was the icing on the cake, Steve?
Yes, because he's the striker that suits their style of play. Someone that can get the ball, they can get the ball up to hold it, and they come forward. And then he can feed in the wing backs bombing on from passing him or something like that. So he fits their style of play. The other teams like Liverpool, Man United, Man City don't want to play that type of football. Even to a degree, if you look at Tottenham, how they've changed, Harry Kane doesn't play that game. The ball goes up into him, he shields it, and then tries to roll the defender or feeding someone going beyond him. So Lukaku's a perfect fit for that style of football.
But one of the reasons that Lukaku was actually brought back to Chelsea, I mean, a lot had to do with Timo Werner not knowing where the post is. So, I mean, if Timo Werner was a 20 goals kind of guy, like the way he showed for Leipzig, do you think they would have bought Lukaku?
They'll be playing the style of football that they're playing now.
Yeah, but I feel that regardless of who they buy or put up front, Chelsea still play the same style of football. Or do you think differently, Karim?
I don't think they would have went for him if Timo Werner was scoring goals.
No.
I just think that the fact that he's come in and it's obviously showing that the manager doesn't have faith that Timo Werner would be putting on goals away. Because why would you? I mean, he was brought in to be that main guy when he was at RMB Leipzig.
But then the thing is, if they wanted to play that way, the way Werner plays, then why not go for a striker that does that? The way they've gone with Lukaku, it's like they're trying to bring more out of the attacking midfielders that they've got.
Yeah, I agree. I think so.
So they're changing the style. So I think if they felt the style of play was good, then they would have gone for a player that actually replaces Werner. Now Lukaku's a completely different option to how Werner plays.
I feel Chelsea always had the ability to get the ball in the box, but didn't have that final.
Yeah, but this is not about in the box though. This is about playing it up to outside the edge of your 18, and then getting Havertz to break past you and then burying it or feeding it out to the wing backs.
But
Werner can't do that.
Lukaku is going to score those chances that Werner missed last. I mean, Werner missed some sitters last season.
Yeah.
So Lukaku won't miss those chances. And if I were to be the Chelsea manager, I would actually play Lukaku and Werner together and bench one of Mount or.
Yeah, but Havertz is playing well. He scored.
Yeah, the reason being that when you have someone as big as Lukaku holding the defenders, he's going to be creating loads of spaces for. And you need a very fast player. So they're going to cause teams even double problems when they play two of them, Lukaku and Werner together in the same team.
Well, we shall see. We shall see, people. So we're going to round this up on two notes. First of all, a lot of other teams have done some good transfer business. Everton, West Ham, Villa. Those guys have actually done well. They've actually put their hands in their pocket of going to, make their teams better. However, I'm going to end on a very simple question. Ronaldo, Lukaku, Harry Kane, and who's the other guy?
Salah
and Mane.
Yeah, let's put Salah and Mane in there. Top goal scorer.
This guy.
I'll let. Sorry.
No, Aubameyang.
I'm strong.
This guy. Don't watch Aubameyang, man. Don't watch Aubameyang, man. Don't watch Aubameyang.
What happened to Armstrong?
Oh, the Southampton Armstrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we were saying, so who do you think is going to be the highest goal scorer out of those guys?
I gotta go with my man H, man.
Harry Kane.
Houdini. Houdini.
I gotta go with my boy H. Man.
Yeah, take that loyalty out of your chest, man. Take that loyalty out of your chest. It'll be between.
My boy H.
It'll be between Lukaku and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay.
It won't be Mane. It won't be Ronaldo. Harry Kane has a good chance. Salah has a good chance. Lukaku has a good chance. So it's going to be between those three. I will go for Harry Kane.
So we have two Harry Kanes and one Lukaku and one Cristiano Ronaldo.
What about you? What are you saying?
Harry Kane. The reason I'm saying Harry Kane is I think nothing has changed in terms of style of play. As always, he's going to be the man they're going to be looking to feed to score. Son will probably get in a few goals. Bergwijn might because he's giving that freedom. But I think Lukaku would also have an issue where he'll probably end up being a Drogba, where he will actually distribute more than score. I think most teams seeing that he's going to be the focal point to try and press him hard. I mean, apart from the likes of Mari. And Cristiano Ronaldo is not the same player. I think he will settle in, but it's a very different league now. And the way Man United play, you have the likes of Bruno and Pogba, especially Bruno that goes forward to score more goals. I think it'll be evenly distributed in that way, but we shall see. So I'm pretty much I'll go for Harry Kane. However, I'll put a sneaky 5 on Ronaldo just in case.
Yeah, keep telling you Ronaldo, mate. Trust me.
It's going to steal all Bruno's penalties.
Exactly. He's going to take all the penalties.
All the
Especially the
penalties.
first season, mate. He's come there to prove a point.
Oh,
And
yes.
that guy, when he's come there to prove a point in his football career, he normally proves it pretty well.
The good thing is he hasn't scored a free kick in almost 5 years. So
It'll probably be the opener against Newcastle. 25 top corner or something like that.
That's all we can hope for. That is all we can hope for. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been wonderful.
One thing I wanted to mention, the team that had the best transfer window, PSG.
Absolutely.
PSG.
We will talk about international transfers in our next episode.
And one more thing.
Yeah, keep going. One more thing.
My probably best value buy of the season, Everton, Damari Gray, 1.6 million.
Oh, that's a signing.
1.6 million. That's for Calvert Lewin is going to have a field day with the crosses that guy's going to get.
They just got Solomon Rondon. So
yeah, for a free. Yeah, he's come as backup. He said he knows he's come as backup. But Damari Gray at Everton feeding Calvert Lewin for 1.6 million. There's a bargain.
There's something that they do to these players when they go to Germany.
Why did Leicester let him go though? Like that guy.
Last season he was in Germany. So
yeah, they sold him to the team in Germany, and he's come back.
There's something that happens to those boys when they go to Germany. This is like a cleansing. They go there and they come back.
Sorry, just another question. Did City really need to spend 100 million?
It's a market. That's what the market.
Jack Grealish.
First of all, Aston Villa had 100 million in his clause. There was a clause in his contract that for anybody to buy him was 100 million.
No, what did they need to?
Yeah, but you need to match the clause though.
I don't think they've got. I don't think they've got him for this season. I don't think they've got him for this season. I think he's a replacement for De Bruyne over the next couple of years.
I used to think that, but they play in complete different positions, don't they?
Yeah, but you can bring Grealish to be more central and be that distributor. His long range passing isn't as good, but his short game and the way he interacts with players and stuff, it can make City tick the way they had De Bruyne, Silva do that. Because I don't think Bernardo Silva has stepped up to do that.
My problem with that question that Karim asked is that the future is what they are thinking about. You and AK picked Henderson based on the future.
But I don't think they needed to. And especially, why did Pep, who's already come out and said after his contract finishes with City, he has no intention of extending it?
No, he didn't say that. He said when his time finishes with City, he didn't mean that the end of his current contract in 2023 is when his time with City finishes. He's going to take a break from football.
2024, I think.
So he can go a couple more years, and he wants to do international football management. So
that's what he said, yeah.
Yeah, so that it's when he cleared that up. It's not when his current contract ends in 2023. It's when his time with City finishes. So that could be an extension of the current contract. Yeah, so when he gets sacked.
This is of Nigeria.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will have to end this episode of Grassroot Chats, not to give Super Eagles fans any false hope. It's been wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Kareem. As always, AK-47, wonderful. Mr. Thanos. I shall see you guys soon. Goodbye.
Yes, guys. Bye.